Hi, I'm Mayor Satya Roots Conway of Madison, Wisconsin. So Madison has been a Vision Zero community since 2020, and in the process of implementing our Vision Zero plan, we've been really focused on our high injury network and doing equitable engagement around that. So we are so incredibly thankful to have the Safe Streets for All funding come to our community. It will allow us to really focus on making sure that the resources are going to the most underserved communities, the places that need them the most, and to the populations that need them the most. So just for example, one of the things that I talked about with the Secretary is our focus on safe routes to schools so that kids can get from home to school and back again safely, no matter what mode they choose to travel in, whether they're walking or biking or taking transit or getting driven to school. And so that's a major focus of the things that we're doing. We're also focused on folks that have maybe mobility issues, might be differently abled, making sure they can get around our community safely and connecting again to all of those different modes of transportation. And the other thing that I talked about was how in the course of our work around particularly safe streets and Vision Zero, we had for a very long time not invested in South Madison in safety projects. And in part that's because people weren't complaining in some of the lower income communities. And in part is because we weren't taking an equity lens to our analysis of projects. When we started using an equity lens on our safety projects, we now have 20 plus projects in South Madison, which is a predominantly African-American community in Madison. And so the money that is coming under Safe Streets for All is allowing us to do those projects. It's accelerating our investments in safety in Madison. Let me count the ways. So we have gotten funds for our bus rapid transit line, which is the first bus rapid transit in Madison. It is going to be all electric buses. So that is improving our air quality and it is getting people where they need to be safely and efficiently. We've also received bridge funding, which literally the John Nolan Drive bridges are crumbling. And without this money, we would not be able to replace them. While we are replacing them, we are improving safety. We are improving pedestrian and bicycle facilities. So we're layering these federal investments in a really synergistic way. And then of course, we're getting the Safe Streets for All funding, which we are so excited about what that's gonna do frankly, all across our community. What we said in the meeting with the Secretary earlier is like, these projects don't sound particularly sexy. We're talking about like doing curb bump outs and rapid flashing beacons and like enhanced crosswalks. And it sounds kind of small, but it's actually so impactful in our communities. And the fact that the scale of funding allows us to touch every part of our community, allows us to do these relatively small interventions in so many different neighborhoods that are literally going to save people's lives. And we could not do it. We could not do it without the funding from the Biden administration. I am very personally motivated around Vision Zero and Safe Streets for All. My brother and my grandfather died in a car crash, and I don't want any family to have to experience what my family experienced. And so whenever I hear about a crash, an injury crash, God forbid a fatality crash in my community, it just further motivates me to do the work that we need to do, to make the investments that we need to make to keep our streets safe. We, in looking at the data, have identified a number of factors that contribute to these safety issues. And it's about speed, it's about impaired driving, and it's about infrastructure design. And so we are really trying to take a very holistic approach to targeting the places where we have had crashes and where people have lost their lives, and making sure that we can make those places safer. because, as you say, these deaths are preventable. People do not have to die on our streets, and I don't want any family to have to lose a loved one because of a traffic crash. It's preventable, and we can do this. And again, it's the city that's doing the work, but it is the partnership with the federal government that makes it possible for us to make these investments. And that's why I'm thankful to the president and to the secretary for their work. But I think my whole community is really committed to making sure that our streets are safe for folks. I guess I would like to say thank you, right? Because the investments that are coming from the Biden administration to improve safety in our streets are really, really significant. And the fact that they're coming directly to cities is really significant. And the fact that we are able to work with the Department of Transportation to think holistically about our transportation system and to tap into different funding streams so that we are improving our transit system, we are improving the safety of our streets, we're improving our bridges, and all of that really works together to make Madison a safer place where people can get where they need to go.